Today, let's talk about retirement in ancient China. Back then, ordinary people didn't really have a concept of retirement. Whether you were farming or running a shop, you basically worked until you couldn't work anymore. Only government officials had the option to retire. There were no pension or social security, no work, no money. The official retirement system, 制式, for government officials began around 481 BCE. You had to be 70 years old to retire.
70? I'm not sure I'll even live that long.
Even now, living to 70 isn't a guarantee. Back then, for most people, it was a dream. Most officials, farmers, and shopkeepers worked for life. From the Han Dynasty to the Yuan Dynasty, the retirement age for officials stayed at 70. But during the Ming and Qing dynasties, they were a little kinder and they lowered the retirement age to 60. And they let military officers, especially the lower-ranking ones, retire as early as 45.
45? Now that's a retirement age I can get behind. Looks like the high-ranking officials were a victim of their own success. So how did officials actually go about retiring? I doubt it was as simple as putting in your 2 weeks' notice.
Great question. Unlike today, they didn't go to HR to file some paperwork. Instead, they had to submit a formal request to the emperor himself. The request was called 乞骸骨, which literally means asking to have one's old bones returned. It's like saying, I've given my body to the emperor's service. Now please let me have what's left of it back.
I used to have a pet dog. He never gave up his favorite bone easily.
It was the same of the government officials. If you were low-ranked and not very important, the emperor was more than happy to replace you. You'd be out the door and sunbathing with your cats in no time. But for high-ranking officials, it was more complicated. The emperor might not want to let them go, thinking their old bones were still useful. So many top officials had no choice but to keep working into old age.
Yep, just like my dog.
To be honest, most officials didn't even want to retire. Getting into a top position took a lot of time, a lot of work, and a lot of money. There were many difficult exams to take, and they'd often start working in their 30s or 40s. So when they were old enough to retire, they hadn't made enough money yet.
So did nobody actually retire early?
Some did, but only in special cases. First, there were those with health problems. For example, during the Tang Dynasty, the famous general Li Jing retired at 64 because of a foot condition. Emperor Li Shimin admired his humility. He said, most people in high positions don't want to give up power, but not Li Jing. The emperor approved happily retirement, let him keep all his honors and salary, and even gifted him a royal walking stick.
It's always nice when your boss appreciates your hard work and even lets you go home if you're unwell.
Well, even some modern bosses could learn from Emperor Li Shimin. Second, some choose early retirement for political reasons. Take Liu Bowen. He helped start the Ming Dynasty. After the war was over, he retired to show he was not a danger to the emperor. Third, some were gently nudged into retirement by the emperor. Like one official in Song Dynasty who forgot what he was supposed to report during a meeting, the emperor was not amused. After glancing at the sloppy report and realizing it had probably been written by the guy's assistant, the emperor gave him a scolding. The next day, that official wisely filed for retirement.
The emperor basically gave him a pink slip and told him to not come back. What was the point in retiring anyway? Were there any benefits?
Retirement benefits varied. Politically, they were often treated with great respect. In the Tang Dynasty, high-level ministers could still attend court and advise the emperor. They were basically senior consultants. In the Ming Dynasty, retired officials were allowed to participate in the official banquets and ceremonies just like before. Even junior officials had to bow to them during visits.
It sounds like retirement was a little bit more like working part-time, rather than just lounging around, playing board games, and phoning your grandchildren.
Yeah, but financially it was a mixed bag. In the Han Dynasty, only high-ranking officials like state governors and above received pensions. Lower-ranking ones got nothing. The Tang Dynasty gave half pay to mid-level officials and above. Below that, nothing. The Song Dynasty had the best system, full benefits and bonus, even allowing early retirement if you had good reasons.
That's a tight spot. You either didn't retire because you were too poor, or you couldn't retire because you were too important.
Yeah, there was a high-ranking official who started applying to retire at 61, but the emperor kept saying no. He finally succeeded at 65 after applying 7 times.
The man had a dream.
The Ming Dynasty was stingy. Emperor Zhu Yuanzhang believed if you weren't working, you didn't deserve a salary. Not only did retired officials get no pension, they still had to pay taxes like regular people. After a lot of complaints, the emperor agreed to change the rules a little. Still no pension, but no taxes. And if they were really broke, they could apply for government receipt, 188 kilograms a month, just enough for a big family to scrape by.
To be honest, that sounds like a lot of rice. But I suppose if you're eating it 3 times a day and you have a big family, it would get used up very quickly.
In the Qing Dynasty, things were similar, no pensions. Maybe the emperors thought they were saving money with this plan, but this led to a lot of corruption. One low-ranking official nearing retirement got so worried. He could barely feed his family on his salary, and once he retired, they'd be doomed. His supervisor felt sorry for him and assigned him to a temporary post in tax collection, an easy place to make some extra income. After a few months of savings, he finally retired in peace.
That's nice for the official, but the people paying the taxes were probably unhappy with that. So generally, to retire in ancient China, first, you had to be a government official or military officer, because they were the only people with a chance to retire. Then, to actually retire, you needed to be too sick to work, too dangerous to work, too bad at your job to work, or just not very important.